My name is Ed Nardi, Chair of the Natural Resources Commission, and I am calling this public meeting to order at 7 p.m. In accordance with the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Executive Order of March 12, 2020, suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, we are conducting this meeting virtually. To ensure public access to the deliberations of the meeting, the public may access this call through video conferencing or telephone. Following the presentation by the petitioner and questions from the commission, members of the public will have the opportunity to ask questions and provide public comment. Please identify yourself with name and address for the record. You can also raise your hand from your phone by dialing *9 and use *6 to unmute. All video screens will be turned off with the exception of the commissioners, Delia, and the current petitioner. Once the commission has acted on an application, the petitioner is free to leave the meeting. Screen sharing will not be permitted unless absolutely necessary, and all votes will be taken by roll call vote. In the event of any technical difficulties, all matters on the agenda that have not been heard will automatically be continued to the April 6th NRC meeting. At this time, I would ask the commissioners to introduce themselves. Nick
Pappas.
and Greg.
Greg Higgins.
Thank you all. And the first order of the meeting tonight will be approval of minutes for January 19th.
I had nothing to add to it.
I
did
had
not
one.
either.
I had one small wording change, which can be done after the fact, but I would move to approve as amended with one word.
I second that.
Okay. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Greg. And the vote, Nick,
Aye.
Greg,
Aye.
and I am an aye as well. All right, on to the director's report. Delia?
So just very briefly, I mentioned at the last meeting that one of our land stewards was working with Will Holden to put in some Bluebird boxes at Haywood Meadow. Those were installed this week. So he put 4 into the east meadow, which is the gun house side of the meadow. And within minutes of the installation, Bluebirds were checking out those boxes. So that was great. We decided not to replace the 2 boxes on the west or town side of the meadow because Bluebirds were already investigating those boxes. So we'll replace those at the end of the nesting season. The other thing to update you on is the Assabet River Bluffs proposal, which is moving ahead well. We were encouraged to apply for an MVP grant, and so we will be doing so. And this is in addition to the Land and Water Conservation Fund grant that we've already put in an application for. The MVP grant is due on May 5th. It is more geared towards climate resiliency. And so we're preparing that application for a May 5th submittal. And I'll have a letter for the commission to review at the next meeting to submit in support of the application.
Okay. And Delia, just remind me, can you take down both grants or is it one or the other?
Just one or the other.
Okay, that's what I recall.
Right. So we can submit 2, but they don't, even though the Land and Water Conservation Fund grant is a federal grant and the MVP is a state, they will not give a community 2 grants in the same
Sure.
funding cycle.
Yeah,
Yep.
that makes sense.
And both are going in for $500,000.
So yeah, same amount either way.
Yeah.
Okay. That's it?
That's it. Thanks.
Okay.
Can you briefly, because it's of interest to me, just briefly cover what in Sam Hill is going on at White Pond?
Oh, so, well, we had a conversation, a minor modification discussion at the last meeting about some additional tree removals that were required for, once the trail was staked, it became clear that there were additional
Correct.
tree removals that were required.
No, I'm talking more of like what the turmoil about signage and that.
Well, we're not really sure what this signage, somebody has been posting signage, and, I don't really know what to say about it other than it's been a little bit,
Non-productive. Yeah,
unproductive, to
Yeah.
say the least.
yeah,
And, right, so the signs go up and the signs get taken down, and
Yeah. I mean, it's an odd, and one can consider it a threatening gesture. I
Correct.
just went over there today just for, not because I was bored, but because I was interested. And if you haven't been over, take a trip over. So I think they're doing a very considerate work
Yeah.
through the woods, frankly, and having quite a experience with that area, it's being done with about as least intrusive a method as I could imagine to get this done. So
Yeah.
I wish people would look at it in the bigger picture, because yes, we did have to take a few trees, or maybe 24 or more, 30 trees, but if you look at it, it's like, wow, one would have thought a lot more trees had to be taken down. That's all I'll say.
I
didn't
think
want
that's
to, I don't
right,
want to
Greg.
carry
I
on
mean,
with this.
I think that at the end of the day, the number of trees that are removed from there, I don't think that they will, I mean, they will be missed for sure, but I think that it will not be terribly well noticed
I
at the
agree.
end of the day.
I agree. I agree.
And they will also be replanted at a strong caliper replacement, and many more trees will be replanted than were taken out. So, yeah.
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 All right, enough of that. I'm sorry.
No, not at
No
all.
worries.
All right. And I think we have next up on the agenda is
I make a motion to continue until the April 6th, 2022 meeting, 286 Barrett's Mill Road, DEP file number 1371590, and 61 Black Duck Road, DEP file number 1371578.
Second,
Thank you, Nick. And the vote, Greg,
Aye.
Nick,
aye.
and I am an aye as well. All right, coming to the new application this evening, Matt, I think, so that application is for 555 Anersnick Hill Road, DEP file number 137. And Delia, we have a number on this? You're on
Yes,
mute,
the number did came through.
Delia? You're on mute?
Yes, it came through.
Okay, great. All right, Matt, you are up.
Okay, so first of all, good evening, everybody. I am here representing Scott Uther, who is the applicant. So essentially, the application is for the construction of a new septic system within the 100-foot buffer zone. There are some trees that are going to have to be removed, and there is a tree replanting plan noted on the plan to take its place. The trees that are remaining nearby the work have a tree protection plan with a tree protection plan detail listed on them. It's actually a pretty straightforward filing. At this point, I'll take questions.
Okay, Matt, thank you. So I think staff raised a couple of issues. One was just clarity on the southernmost tree. I think 4 were going to be protected, 3 show protection, and the question was that southernmost tree, is that going to get protection as well?
Yeah, we'll add it to the mix.
Okay, so you'll note that on a revised plan.
Correct.
All right. And then I think based on staff looking at the site, they had noticed, I think it was 5 trees that were cut closer to the wetland of varying diameter. Is there some background on that?
I talked to my client about that. My client says those trees were actually already cut when he got the property. He got the property back in mid-2020. They did cut some, not cut, but they cleaned out some small saplings that had issues with storm damage, ice damage.
And
I
when you
mean, I
say
can-
saplings, any idea of saplings and storm damage and how many they may have taken down? Again, it's still in the, in our area of jurisdiction, so.
He just told me some. I mean, I can add more trees to the plan in the tree planting area to account for those trees that were taken down.
I think, again, we'll see what the other commissioners feel, but I think if you were to add an additional 5 trees as a, kind of to balance out the estimate, I think that may make sense on that approach. Greg, Nick?
That's not a problem.
Yeah, I'd be on board with that.
Yep, that's
No
fine with
problem at
me.
Okay. So,
I will relay the information to Evan and he will have the revised plans that afternoon.
all right, I'm just making sure there's
Well,
anything else.
we're not attesting to the wetlands line, correct? Because
That is,
it,
yeah, even though the plan notes some wetlands flagging, I think, if I'm not mistaken, there's a couple of wetland flag on that, but again, we're not necessarily, approving that
Right,
kind
so-
of wetland boundary.
Right, the wetlands had been reflagged, but the flags were not evident when staff went out to review. So there was a prior filing, and those flags generally lined up. So we thought that this was acceptable for a septic replacement project, to just use that, that combined sort of wetland boundary, and not require a reflagging, but just to include a finding on the order of conditions that it's not an approved boundary.
Yeah, makes sense, particularly since this is further away from the wetland as well, right? I.e. the
Yes.
replacement.
Yep.
Right,
Erosion protection will
Okay.
place them well enough away from the edge of wet, so it shouldn't make.
Yeah.
any impact.
yeah. So Matt, adding an additional 5 trees in that zone of 0 to 50 feet, noting the additional tree protection for the southernmost tree, and you can get all that work in by Friday?
Yeah, I'll talk to Evan in the morning and Evan's usually pretty good about having that stuff by the afternoon. So you'll have an electronic copy by the afternoon on tomorrow probably, and then I'll bring by the hard copies on Friday.
Okay. And Delia, I assume with that, would you like to, I think we can close the hearing. Let me go out to any public comment in regard to this application, just making sure we're not missing anything here. Okay, seeing none. I think we can close the hearing. Do we want to go over the order, in essence, vote the order of conditions subject to receipt of the plans on this Friday? Or do you want just to kind of clear this out? Or do you want to
Yes,
wait?
so I would suggest that you phrase the motion pending receipt of revised plans that include 5 additional trees to be replanted in the buffer zone in the general locations from which they were removed, or something along those lines.
But to be reviewed by staff prior to commencing work.
For sure, but
I mean,
those,
But noted on the plans.
Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
To be received by Friday.
Okay, that way we can kind of resolve this all this week, subject to. Okay,
And something, the south tree, you want to add that in?
yeah, why don't
Protection
you?
Put around the
The
tree
fourth
to the south, the
southernmost tree. Yeah,
Okay. Okay, Nick, you want me to do it?
Yes, please.
I move to close an issue, DEP file number 1371592 with, I got it, with findings A and B and standard conditions 1 through 20 and special conditions 21 through 52. This approval is subject to receiving a final plan which shows 5 additional trees to be placed in the buffer zone approved by the site visit of the staff prior to commencing work, and protection being put around the southernmost tree noted on the plan.
Thank you, Greg.
second,
Thanks, Nick. And the vote, Greg,
Aye.
Nick,
aye,
and I am an I as well. Thank you, Matt. We'll look forward to getting
Thanks,
the
Matt.
plans by Friday.
Thanks, guys. Much appreciated.
And I'm
Take
sure
care.
your granddaughter looks better than you are, so thank you for that.
Oh, by 10 times. And thank you.
All right, good evening. All right, we move on to close and issue a couple of order of conditions. The first one, and Delia, do you want to kind of run through those and we can do them both together?
Yes, so the first one we talked about, and the second one is the order of conditions for the Warner's Ponds restoration project. And Alex Patterson, our consultant, is also on the call. So Alex, we weren't expecting a presentation.
No,
No.
But
I think we're
we've put
good.
together some conditions and Alex has reviewed them.
Good.
Alex, there was one additional condition that we added in that I sent to the commission that included monitoring of the restoration for the invasive species removal area. Other than that, I think all of the conditions, well, I guess if the commission has questions on the conditions, I can put them up, we can review them together, or however you want to
I'm
proceed.
okay with it.
I read through them all, quite
I
a
did.
list, 72, 75 of them, so
Yes,
pretty extensive.
76, actually.
Ah, thank you.
We
Alex, you good with that additional condition as well?
Yep, I think that makes a lot of sense.
Okay,
I move to close and issue DEP file number 137. Oh, wait a minute, anything from the public? There isn't any public.
no public.
All right, I make a motion to close and issue DEP file number 1371587 with findings A, B, and C, standard conditions 1 through 20, and special conditions 21 through 76.
second,
I believe that with the revised version that there are 77 conditions.
Oh,
Ah,
you're correct.
we
Oh,
did
well,
not receive that.
I didn't receive the 77th.
you wanna-
Okay, so we sent that out yesterday. Let me just pull that
Yeah,
up.
no,
why
the
don't we
one
pull it up
yesterday
and
is the one I
take-
got up. on my
Yeah.
screen.
Okay, with the invasive species condition that's redlined.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
76, I'm sorry.
76. All right, so we got a second. I think we can proceed with the vote. Greg,
Aye.
Nick,
Aye,
and I'm an I as well. Thank you, Alex.
Great, thank you very much.
Yeah. You're
Take
welcome.
care.
Thanks, Alex. Really
Bye.
appreciate all your work on this.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks. Take care.
You too. All right, I think we're down to a administrative approval.
Yes. So we have a Norway maple that is shading a new little pollinator meadow that we're trying to establish at Baker Ave. And let's see. A second here.
Who's doing the pollinated meadow? Delia.
We are.
Ah,
So we had some extra seed mix and it was a semi shade mix. And so we put that in here. This is the Baker Ave recently acquired Baker Ave parcel. Here is the new Chase Bank. Here's the TD Bank, Assabet River here, right? And Main Street here.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the location of the Norway maple, right at the just on the 200 riverfront boundary, just outside of the 50-foot no build zone. I'm not sure what this black line is here. I'm sorry, I was pausing because I don't know quite what, oh, trail, that's our trail.
Yeah.
I
that's
apologize.
John to launch the, canoe.
Right. And so, we have this little access into here. We've got a little parking area. We have a
Yeah.
handicap picnic area, and there was some extra seed mix for pollinator plantings in this area here that has been put down last fall. So we're going to see what happens as it comes up. But there's a large it's a 12-inch Norway maple that would be great if that could just come out to open up a little bit of sun for the pollinator meadow. So Will Holden and our Trails Committee Chair Bob White, and perhaps one of the trail stewards would do that work. It would just be flush cuts and then hauled off and taken to the composting facility.
Okay. Any
Good.
issues?
I got no beef with that
No.
at all.
Nope.
No.
Makes sense. I think we're good to go on that.
Okay, thank you.
All right, well, I think with that, our conclusion for this evening.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second,
I thought we didn't need that anymore,
I
right?
know, but I just figured somebody's got to say it.
Well said, Greg. We are adjourned. Thank you.
We are adjourned. See
All right.
y'all.
Take care.
and depending on when we
Enjoy
started. that might
Friday,
be a
enjoy
record.
Friday. 70
Depending on when we
degrees.
started, that might have broken our record. Yeah, we ended at
Oh.
7:22.
Yeah, 22 minutes.
22.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, we
Well done, folks. Have
Yeah.
a great
Yeah.
night.
Bye.
you
Yeah.
do.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.